Good morning and welcome to Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered Monday through Friday. Thank you so much for joining us this morning for Tell It All Tuesday. And with that, let's get into honoring God with our body. God, please guard our mind and our thoughts. God, help me to fix my thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. So I will think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. God, please protect our ears and help us listen to your voice. God, help me to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. God, please protect my eyes from sin's damage. God, I make a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully. God, please speak life over my mouth. God, set a guard over my mouth. Lord, keep watch over the doors of my lips. God, please help my hands to serve generously. God, help me to do good to everyone, and especially to those who belong to our family in the faith. God, please protect our reproductive organs and help us to honor you, God, with purity. God, help me to honor you with my body. And God, please protect our feet as we walk along your path. God, let your word be a lamp for my feet and a light on my path. And if this is the first time you're joining us here on Unfiltered Vision News, that is something we try to say daily, right? Just to set our hearts and our minds right. And amen, Spud. Thank you so much for adding that at the end. It is a way for us to pray, for us to get focused as we go into the news, because trust me, our hearts need to be prepared for it. There's a lot going on. Yeah, there's just a lot going on. So there's some things that I'm catching up with because I was out on vacation. And I just want to make sure that when I do present the information to you guys, that you're getting the best information and it's not weird rabbit holes, right? So right now we're just going to keep it pretty lean, okay, until we start getting into the conflicts going on overseas and foreign policy, right? So let's just stick to domestic policy for right now, if you guys are good with that. And we're going to start first with our topics on X. So Aaron Rodgers calls Fauci an absolute coward on the Pat McAfee show. Ouch. Okay. Tell us how you really feel, Aaron. And then, of course, the NYC mayor, he unveils grocery stores with ID checks. And I thought that that was fascinating because in the city of New York, you can vote without an ID. But you got city-run grocery stores, and you gotta have an ID there. Everybody's all in an uproar about voter ID. We can't get it. Okay, so here's some of the things that you need to have when you get an ID. You may not necessarily. Oh, yeah, you do have to have a birth certificate. Actually, I don't want to say that you have to have either a birth certificate, um, or some other form of ID proving your birth, because that's how you get your ID. You don't just show up and say, "Hey, I want an ID. Here's my address." It doesn't work like that. So for people to get so in an uproar about the SAVE Act, it's hilarious to me, you know, because even they're like, well, women, with their name change, I'm like, no, you can get your name change done literally within 6 weeks. That's about how, and that's at length. Usually the Social Security office can do it within 2 to 3 weeks as long as your paperwork is standard and straight. And on top of that, you actually get a receipt with your new name on it. So you can actually start handling your business until you get your official card. So I don't know what people are talking about. I need people to stop acting like you can't get an ID. Stop that. Okay, so let's get into this. So the mayor's discount grocery plan draws voter ID hypocrisy claims. Just what I was saying. I'm like, what are you talking about? Gotta have an ID. Dude. Okay, so New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani announced 5 municipal grocery stores in late July, right, offering staples like produce and meat at 30% below retail to save households about $90 monthly amid high costs. The plan, unveiled at a Brooklyn press conference, faced criticism after an economic development rep suggested a voluntary card system to prioritize residents and block, excuse me, non-New Yorkers. So critics like Elon Musk and Clay Travis highlighted the irony against Democratic resistance to voter ID laws, which I was just talking about. Though the city clarified no mandatory checks of residency proof would be required. So basically, if I went to go visit New York and I went into one of these stores, right, would I have to show a New York ID so that I would, be allowed to shop in these stores? Because they're mainly put in place for the people that live in these boroughs, right? Specifically, so that they are not in food deserts, which I'm like, okay, I guess, but it's a double-edged sword with these stores because they are government run, because the city is planning to use taxpayer money to put these stores in place, again, taxpayer money, um to lower the cost. What is that going to do to the other stores in the general area? We'll see what happens to them. But let's catch this clip.
How are you going to keep people from taking advantage of that, that deal, basically? And is there going to be a limit on the number of items that someone can take that are discounted at that level from that essential basket?
So our RFP makes very clear that this is a program for New Yorkers to be able to put food on the table, not a program for people to be able to make a quick buck through reselling. I'm going to pass it over to our EDC head, G Pack, to add some additional details.
Yes, if you look at our RFP for the operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be at sort of a library card esque, and also we manage who's buying, and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers. So we are mindful of that, and so we're going to make sure that we have all the things in place to ensure that that does not happen.
How are you going to...
Like a library card. Okay, so a library card is like an ID, right? Because we go to the library. I can't get a library card from Los Angeles and then go to Atlanta and expect for that library card to work. It's not going to work, because you know why? I have to show residency. Just the comedy behind it. Here's the thing. I know their intent might be in the right place, right? To try to do right by people. But the execution is hilarious, because it shows so much hypocrisy and how nobody really thought this through. They went in with emotion, and this is what it produces. Nonsense. Fix it. Fix it. So the stores are there, and they should be there for everybody, right? Because isn't that what socialism is about, right? Come on now. Why do you even have locks on your doors? You're supposed to be sharing with everybody. Nobody should have no more than what anybody else, right? Right? Your logic doesn't work, but that's okay. All right. So let's get to this last one. So Illinois police officer, he was arrested by ICE as a visa overstay. Okay, first of all, how is he a police officer? Okay, let's just get to it. This is weird. So, okay, I'm not even going to try this last name. We'll just call him the B-man. Hired in January of 2025, this is last year, after USCIS work authorization checks and FBI background reviews, was arrested on October 15, 2025, enrolling medals for remaining in the U.S. past his 2015 departure date. So he was a decade in, y'all, and he was supposed to be gone. Wow. Department of Homeland Security highlighted the felony of an unauthorized immigrant possessing a firearm while the department placed him on leave before returning him to full duty as his case continues. Videos of the arrest have prompted questions about hiring, vetting, and sanctuary state policies in Illinois. What is wrong with y'all? Just the craziness. So, and the caption says illegal aliens are police officers in Illinois, yet they cannot even legally acquire a gun. I know that's part of the whole thing. But this person was in the US over a decade, and he couldn't get citizenship, which means he had deportation orders a decade ago. and should have never been in the United States. Now, let's just say he got deportation orders and then he left, right? But then he wanted to become a US citizen, so he came back the right way. He would be fine. But here's the problem. If you are not a naturalized citizen, you should definitely not be participating in the police force, period. If you are here on any type of status like refugee, asylum, definitely TPS, you should definitely not be on the police force because that's only an 18-month program and it's been abused. And in my opinion, it needs to be abolished. We cannot continue to have something in place that people continuously abuse. Get rid of it now. Just get rid of it. It's not in the Constitution. We don't have to do it, and we need to be done with it. That's it. Just retire that whole situation. But let's get into it.
So how long have you been a police officer?
Since January.
January of this year?
Correct. I just finished the academy.
You just finished the academy, okay. All right.
You had to get there.
Just to confirm though too,
Yeah.
so they hired you on, you had work authorization
Correct.
and you were able to carry a firearm?
No.
Not-
On duty, yes. Off duty, no.
So on duty, you could carry a firearm,
State of Illinois, you need a Ford and a CCW to carry a weapon off duty.
but on duty you could.
Correct.
Wow. You know, what's crazy about this is I don't know anything about him other than he says he loves America. The problem is he's not even a citizen. So he can't own a firearm legally
Period.
in our country, but he's being given a firearm by the state of Illinois as a police officer in the state. And apparently they just, all you have to have is work authorization in this state. That is insane. You haven't even sworn allegiance to our country yet. And yet we're giving you a firearm. Now, this guy may be a great guy, but how many others are working in our country as police officers who aren't great guys?
Shout out to Ben Berkwam for covering this. He is everywhere. We need to find out information. Appreciate it. But that's just weird. No, you're not a citizen of the country. Absolutely, you should not be carrying a firearm. Absolutely, you should not be a police officer. Like, you have to swear and attest to things when you become a police officer. You have to swear your allegiance. Like, what are you swearing to? You're not sovereign to this country. You haven't even pledged your allegiance to the country. You're not a naturalized citizen. Like, what are we doing? Stop the madness. There is one thing for states to have the rights to exercise the Constitution, again, to give people more rights, but those are actually citizens and naturalized citizens, not people that are here illegally, because then that breaks the law. Because there's a supremacy clause where it says there are some things that are uniform around the country. So we operate functionally as a country. Like, what are y'all doing? You're making a mess where there doesn't need to be one. That's all I'm saying. Now, we're going to get into all sides. Okay. So apparently Capital One shut down Trump's organization bank accounts over fraud concerns. Now, this was back in 2021. This was back during his first presidency, and he was selling real estate and he was making deals basically with Russians, and Capital One shut down his bank accounts. Well, there was a whole thing. He went after Capital One. Okay. So here's just a caption. Capital One says it shut down hundreds of Trump organization accounts over money laundering concerns. And money laundering concerns was he was doing business with the Russians. Now, were they able to prove money laundering? I don't know. Didn't get too far involved in the case, but now we're here and it's back again. Now, the whole thing with the money laundering, and I won't stay on this story too long, is that anyone, unfortunately, can be accused of money laundering. So if you decide, okay, I've got a big purchase to make and I want to make the purchase on my card, even though I have the cash in hand. I want to make the purchase on my card so I can get the points, right? So I make the purchase on the card, and then maybe a day or two later, I pay down the entire balance before the billing cycle happens. And then I see, oh, I still have some money. I want to make another large purchase, but I don't want to pay it in cash. I want the points on my card. So you do it again. Well, Capital One will flag your card as money laundering and will shut down your account. Now, I covered this months ago, but that's what they'll do. They will do that. So when I see money laundering, I kind of question and I look at Capital One sideways like, you'll do this to anybody, not just the president. You'll do it to anybody without really looking at why they're doing what they're doing, even though there's been nothing on their accounts before, even though these individuals are trying to make sure that they pay their bills, pay them on time, make sure there's no outstanding debt. Y'all are wild. I can understand if you were monitoring that and it happened several months in a row, but if it happened every blue moon to somebody's account, I wouldn't shut down their account. Maybe they just want the points. Just saying. Now, another thing I want to look at, why are we such in a rush to race? The race to the bottom is with technology. Okay, so plans for armed humanoid robots spark debate over military AI. Nothing could possibly go wrong with Skynet, right? I mean, come on. In every bad movie, this is how it starts. We're just gonna have robots to keep us safe. And the next thing you know, you're under robot control. It's just, like I said, it's just a toilet bowl to the bottom. Hopefully, they will be able to figure some of this out. But I don't. I just, yeah, I don't like humanoid robots. I don't like it, especially armed. Yeah, not unless you're going to give me an EMP where I can fight back. That I can just have to zap a robot and shut it down. That's all I'm saying. I need to have some backup to the robot if you want to put these things on the street. Now with that, I wanted to get into a video from Ashley B. I found this one fascinating because I never thought about this, and she always brings a good perspective to certain things and gives you that kind of, I never thought about that.
Explain something to me, because I've been looking at the numbers, and for the life of me, I can't find the crime wave that they tried to raise me to be afraid of. Not my parents, the others, you know? The whole country was trained to cross the street when they see a black man in a hoodie. There are people who tense up in an elevator, people who clutch a purse, people who see a 17-year-old walking home in the rain and decide he's a threat. Meanwhile, nobody's heart rate changes when they see a white man with a suit walk in. And that is fascinating to me, because the man in the suit is the one with your 401k. So let's do the math they never taught us to do, shall we? Every burglary, every stolen car, every robbery in America, all of it combined costs this country somewhere between $15 and $20 billion a year. That's the crime you were trained to fear. White collar crime, the suits, estimates started around $300 billion per year. Some run past $800 billion. Just wage theft, though. Employers quietly stealing wages from their own workers' paychecks. That's about $50 billion per year. So did you hear me? Bosses steal more from paychecks than every robber, burglar, and car thief in America combined. Your wallet was never in danger from the hoodie. It's in danger from payroll. And it's not just money, count the bodies. The men who marketed opioids in every small town in America wore suits. 500,000 dead, okay? Their company pleaded guilty to federal crimes twice. The family behind it never spent one night in jail. The men who swore under oath that cigarettes were not addictive, while their own files said otherwise, suits. Their product still kills around 480,000 Americans annually. The men who decided to switch a city's water supply to save money, suits. The children drank the lead. The men who crashed the economy in 2008, suits. 10 million homes gone. And they came for the black neighborhoods first, on purpose, of course. Their own employees admitted in sworn statements the slurs that they used for those loans. That crash destroyed more black wealth than any man with a hoodie has ever touched in the history of this country. Number of Wall Street executives that went to prison for it? I'll give you a second to guess. 1. Not 1%. 1 man. So let's be honest about what happened to us. Okay? The fear was manufactured. Somebody decided which silhouette you'd flinch at. The nightly news gave you 30 years of one mugshot. Nobody ever put the 401k thief's face on the 6 o'clock news. The hoodie has never crashed an economy. The hoodie has never denied your grandmother's insurance claim. A hoodie has never foreclosed a block, poisoned a water supply, or lobbied your medication price up 400%. Every single one of those was done in business attire. You know, by men that you would hold the elevator door for. The hoodie was never the threat. It was the decoy. The suit isn't respectability. It's camouflage. And it's only working because y'all are too busy watching the wrong man.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, there are sometimes when she does some videos and I'm like, yeah, we all bought into that. Or at least some of us, right? Some people see it for what it is. And the fact that she pointed out, they're real. I mean, white collar crime is, it's not good. And it happens. And, in my opinion, we need to be aware of it, right? And not just look at it like, oh, whatever. Okay, I mean, again, if you want to. But the whatever is real. So these are some of the things that she was mentioning. And I asked ChatGPT or Grok to just elaborate on some of the statistics she was talking about. So for the property crime cost, it's like $15 to $20 billion, which she mentioned it. Now the white collar crime, 300 billion to 800 billion. Some of the things that she talked about, the wage theft, 50 billion, and that's annually. That's not just something that just was a one-off and then Congress came in and said, hey, you're stealing from people. No, it's continuing. Like, it's annual. Like, it's okay, that clock's never late happening. Okay, the opioid situation. Remember when the opioid situation got really bad? I want to say like Connecticut, Massachusetts, and then it just kind of dissipated, right? It was a big deal and it was gone. Like fentanyl, big deal. And like, has anybody heard anything about fentanyl lately? Does that talking point come up again yet? Or is it a talking point or is it an issue? Because if it's an issue, it's going to be consistent and everybody's going to be clamoring for it. Hey, we got to do something. We got to do something. We got to do something. It's like we got to do something when it's convenient for that talking point to raise awareness about something. But is it really enough that we need to continue talking about it to get rid of it, to eliminate it? No, because fentanyl is now being used in regular drugs everywhere. Just so y'all know, that's what's happening. Okay. Woo. Let's see. Spud says, pull up your pants, cut your hair is all we hear. Yeah. And then Walgreens paid. No one went to jail. Very true. And then, of course, the cigarettes, right? It's killing close to 500,000 people a year. It's not off the market. And it says on the label how toxic it is. They had to put a warning label on it so people were warned. People still smoke it anyway. And they're like, well, that's just their freedom. Or is that your way of population control? I'm just saying. Pick a lane. Choose a struggle. Flint water crisis. Now, this happened in 2014. Flint, Michigan switched its water source as a cost-saving measure. Inadequate treatment led to lead leaching from pipes. Residents, including children, were exposed. Officials faced lawsuits, criminal charges. Some later resolved or dropped, and ongoing recovery costs. It is widely cited as an example of governmental corporate cost cutting with several public health consequences concentrated in a majority Black, lower income city. Yeah. Did they ever fix it? No. It's still happening today. Even in Jacksonville. Their piping system has been messed up over a century. The government's known it. They've gotten billions of dollars to fix it. Is it fixed? No. Will it be fixed? No. Well, maybe if somebody else moves in that area and they kill all the Black people off in that area, and I mean that, kill them all off, or they physically leave, sell their homes, then they'll probably fix it. Because see, the neighboring cities have clean water, just not Jacksonville, just not Flint. That lets you know what's going on. 2008 financial crisis, 10 million homes were gone. Only one person went to jail. One person, he didn't cause the whole crisis. There were banks, plural, that we gave TARP money to keep them solvent. So the economy wouldn't crash and go under. Remember all of those talks? Yeah. So it is amazing to see what criminality looks like. It can be, walking down the street looking like Ted Bundy. He was actually running for Congress. He had on his suit, and he was a mass murderer. Hey, he could look like Jeffrey Dahmer, boy next door. He was eating people, by the way. Just saying. But we're supposed to be afraid of a narrative that's put out. So if you see someone walking down the street that looks like that, they might just be cold. But I would be, definitely questioning somebody in 80-degree weather with a full hoodie on. They might be trying to hide their identity. It's a little hot for that, right? But it lets you know just to be more keenly aware that crime is everywhere. It's on the street, it's in our government, it's in our corporations, and it needs to be rooted out. And the only way it gets rooted out is by good people like myself, yourself, and others that want to do better, right? So let's get to this last video.
Fox News alert, major cover-up inside of the DNC. Leaks everywhere. Remember the autopsy report? They audited why they lost. Well, a chapter went missing about Biden, money, and the consultant class. More on that in a second. The autopsy's author says he personally handed the chapter in a 3-ring binder to the chairman of the DNC, Ken Martin, and said it was never seen again until now. Now, Ken Martin denies he's in on the cover-up, but this should be easy to figure out, right? Pull the emails, right? Wrong. All the emails wiped clean. They pulled a crooked, deleted for security purposes. The autopsy's author says he knows why they nuked the chapter. That chapter was basically the cause of death, why the Democrats lost. And this is what they were trying to hide. Quote, there are too many people who have become generationally wealthy off politics and drive too much of the decision-making within the ecosystem. The people in the room at the highest levels of 24 decision-making misunderstood the mood and practicalities facing everyday America. The secret chapter also says the Democrat politicians got so rich that they lost touch too. Inflation, border, crime, they didn't care. Doesn't affect them. The secret chapter also said they knew Biden was going to lose, but they were too busy getting paid to notice. So they covered it up. And now they're covering up the cover-up. But the truth always comes out, and now the knives are out. The DNC chair has gone into hiding. Ken Martin. Sources say he's hunkered down. Paranoid after the committee sent him to HR for throwing his phone at an intern. Sources say he's about to get fired. We're hearing it could happen before the midterms, turning the party into a headless horseman going into battle. But it gets worse. Democrats say the party's a cashless dumpster fire. Their biggest donors are on strike. This year, George Soros hasn't given the DNC a dime. Last midterm cycle handed over $1 million. The party's a joke. Donors are telling each other that DNC stands for do not contribute. They have alligator arms because the woman who left the party $2 billion in debt is surging into first, and she's asking for their credit card again.
I know this is going to be controversial coming from me in particular. We need to revisit the Electoral College. We need to revisit the point of expanding the court to 13 justices like we have 13 district courts. We need to revisit, if they so want, statehood for Puerto Rico and D.C.
The rich consultants are soothing donors. Quote, I call it the Kamala mirage. Her name does not come up. She's not part of people's calculus for 28, whether she runs or not. But what's not a mirage? This commie wave. The flavor of the month is leaving a bad taste.
Could you ever support a self-described socialist candidate?
No. No way. My God, no.
And even if they have some good ideas?
I support the good ideas, but how could you support some of the crazy stuff they're for? Have you seen their platform? They're for just dismantling everything that we know. No police, no this, no this, no that. Are you crazy?
The commie wave's bad for business. The party elders know it, and so do the donors. The Cajun's done raging. He's just giving up.
It may be that the two-party system is just going to be under tremendous stress here in the coming months. I can't sit here and tell you for certainty how this is going to turn out, but the one thing I can tell you for certain, Hassan Piker and James Carville are not going to be in the same political party. One of us is going to leave. It might even be me.
The commie wave's crashing and fracturing the party. Even Bill Maher's flirting with MAGA.
It's so funny. So many liberals themselves every time Trump puts gold on something in the Oval Office. Oh, it's historic. And the separation of powers isn't? Get your head out of your ass. I would vote for Sarah Palin before this.
These communists want to abolish the Supreme Court, the Senate, and the presidency, but really, they're abolishing turnout.
I've been a Democrat my whole life. This past primary in Ohio, I went and asked for the Republican ballot, which makes me a Republican now. There's many reasons for that. This Democratic Socialist movement, this chicken has been coming home to roost for a long, long time.
Ohio, that's the Rust Belt. And tomorrow, the revolution has a big test there. Super Commie Tuesday. The establishment's wetting the bed. Don the John, the guy who wants to unionize prostitutes and ban police chases, he's on the ballot in Michigan. And Shree's on the streets on his knees.
I'm asking for your vote so I can continue fighting the Trump administration, continue fighting their corruption and their lawlessness.
Shree's so desperate he's dancing. Look at that. Dancing with any grandma who'll take his hand. The big buzz is about the other commie race in the Wolverine state, Abdul. The old-timers are already writing their own autopsy. Listen.
Let's take in Michigan. Now, Al-Said is highly competent, but he's way left. I see challenges from the, quote, progressive left, unquote. And these people are too hard-headed to know that they're not popular. People don't like them.
Abdul, not listening.
You were down 46 points with black primary voters. I know you're going to tell me you don't chase polls, you chase voters, but that is a significant gap. What explains that gap to you?
I'll just note that that poll is brought to you by the same exact pollster who did this last poll. Even in those polls, our polling shows that we're neck and neck in the black community.
Abdul's got a problem. Blacks don't like him. So he's been hitting up black churches, cookouts, just hoping for some sizzle. But he made a big mistake.
Okay, I have to pause right there. I was like, because it's interesting how people will be so dismissive to the black community. It's like, doesn't matter. But when they need the votes, he's in a church right now. Huh? Wait a minute. Hold on. You're in a church right now. And can Muslims be in churches? I don't know. Maybe it's because they can just like take off the whole Muslim situation and just disregard that because they're running for politics, so it doesn't matter. We don't care. Like, I don't know. Can Christians go into mosque? I need to know the rules. I need to know the rules because you just said it didn't matter. And now you're in a church. There was like one person in the pew. No one likes you, bro. The optics are obvious. It's bad. It's bad. What's going on? And Spud says the DNC is not messing with anyone sounding like the black grassroots. I can say that. And then NY Strong says the Dem party is dead. Yeah, neck and neck. You're not neck and neck with anybody, sir. And it's unfortunate what's happening to the Democratic Party because there are some Democrats who do not agree with a lot of the community. I will call them community issues. I will call the DSA a community within the Democratic Party, just like the Tea Party within the Republican Party, right? There were a different set of views and values that were trying to infiltrate the party. Now, the DSA has infiltrated the party to the point where even VP Harris is spewing their talking points, talking about expanding the courts and getting rid of electoral college. I'm like, ma'am, that's DSA talking points right there. So you're trying to broaden the tent. Look, nobody wants you to destroy the country. These Democrats coming out, we're going to stop the Trump administration. Stop it. What are you going to do for the country? We don't care about the Trump administration. What we care about is legislatively, what are you going to do to move the country forward? Like, what is your deal? Stop it. This guilt, this nonsense. Yeah, Spud says cupcake communism. It is, because they've never suffered real communism. Because if they really enjoy communism, then leave the United States. We're not for you. If you really want communism, there are so many countries out there practicing it right now, and they've like really perfected it. I think Cuba is at the top of the list. They're number one. Okay. And they're close. They're like a plane ride away. So if you really want communism, I suggest you go there because they are doing it. Oh, that's right. They don't have electricity sometimes. Oh, that's right. They don't have jobs sometimes. Yeah, that's right. You might not be able to find a place to live, eat, work. Nothing in Cuba. Nothing. But that's what you're pining for. It's very interesting. But I will leave the link so you can watch the rest of this video with Jesse Waters. I mean, it gets even better. It goes on and on. But, for Tell It All Tuesday, I just wanted to give you guys some information that you can just look and going, what's going on? Because we are in midterms and it is going to be dicey. But what I can say is whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, vote for the person who's going to get the job done, not the person who's fighting to destroy the country. That part. We don't want communism here, nor socialism, even though we use quasi-socialism. We do. People pay taxes. We have public schools. We have welfare system. We do have quasi-socialism, but it doesn't rule our country. We are a capitalist country, which is why people want to be here. So they can make their own way. So they can be the next Jeff Bezos or the next, I won't say Bill Gates in the way that he's moved, but in the way that he's made money, right? Steve Jobs. I'm just mentioning some of the big ones because, we kind of all missed out with the Rockefellers. We missed out with them and the Rothschilds because, see, they figured out how to make their money intertwined in the government and never have to actually manufacture or make anything. But they're the wealthiest families. Yeah. But they don't manufacture or make anything. So thank you guys so much for joining me here on this Tell It All Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow with Women in Wellness Wednesday. So remember, stay well, stay focused, and stay unfiltered. We'll see you in the next one.